Yo, and we are live, baby. Once again, we have a glorious day. It's Thursday. It's Thursday now, July 27th. I am super excited. Let's get straight into it, man, because we have quite a few things to cover. We're looking at ES making all time highs. Like, we haven't been in these areas for quite some time, so we're really going to have to be a little more diligent when it comes to getting in, getting out of entries. Um, and one of the things that I'm noticing right now, just straight off the bat, something that happened recently was this very strong rejection up here. So I'm anticipating, maybe another rejection up here. And then if we can see this double bottom or double top, I should say, a double top form, break below this trend line here, and then maybe find an entry. Um, but there is clearly some resistance up here. One of the things that I will say that I learned from yesterday was that I was moving my stop losses a little too early, right? Just because I had two plays that I was a part of, but I got out really even before the move, because I moved my stop loss. So I think I just want to put that out there for the people who may be in my position or who may have passed that. um, I'm here live streaming, trying to learn from you guys just as much as you guys are trying to learn from me. So, if you guys have any suggestions, any advice, right? But that's one of the things that I wrote down yesterday was I was moving my stop loss way too early, and I was missing out on some plays. But I did have two really nice plays yesterday. It's just I just wasn't able to capitalize as much as I wanted to, just because, like I said, I moved my stop loss a little too early. But other than that, the I guess if you want to call it the identification process, or finding these good opportunities, I've been pretty spot on. It's just capitalizing, right, and getting as much, like squeezing the market as much as you can. Um, so right now I'm looking both at Nasdaq. You guys already know. I'm looking both at Nasdaq and ES. I trade both of them. I'm just looking for the better opportunity, right? But it also provides additional confluence when both markets are telling me the same thing. So right now, I'm seeing a strong rejection up here at these levels. ES, like I said, is making higher highs. We haven't been at these levels, but right now we're looking at Nasdaq. So, just one of the things that I want to point out is we have this 2 hour demand down here. This is that whole entire red box. That's the 2 hour demand. So we could expect. Um, I do expect price to come down here, just because these demand zones, these supply zones, they act as magnets, right? Price wants to gravitate, fill these orders, and then maybe if we can bounce off this demand, there could potentially be some nice reward there. But yeah, we have this 2 hour demand. I'm looking at this opposing zone here, this shaded, this box here, this smaller box, right? That's another entry there for me. It's a 5 minute, I guess you can call it a 5 minute demand zone. Um, but I'm looking for a break here. If we can break below it, if we can break below that, um, that would be nice after rejecting these highs. So this would be a really nice textbook double top, and then we break below it, breaking below the trend line, breaking below the opposing zone, um, and then I try to go for my first target would probably be, I'd want to see how it reacts here, this 15807. Um, but I would really want to target this 2 hour demand. I don't think we're gonna have a straight downfall into this 2 hour demand, but like I said, these demand zones and supply zones, they act as magnets. Now the other possibility is we break past this, right? Now I don't like playing breakouts. I just think they're lower probability. May work for you, but it hasn't worked for me, which is why I prefer to wait until we have some kind of pullback and I can just get a better entry. I just don't like playing the break, the low, the higher day break or the lower day break. I just think it's lower probability in my opinion. Um, but I'm looking here. If we can break below this box, I'm gonna go ahead and take some shorts. If we can break below this box, I'm gonna go ahead and take some shorts. I like what it's doing so far. And then I'll go ahead and point out what ES is doing as well. ES is okay. Look at that. So I'm gonna get in the shorts here. I wanna see a little pullback. All right, I'm in the shorts.
Order filled.
I'm in the shorts. I'm playing. I didn't want to play ES. I didn't want to play ES right off the bat. We're already fucking up. So I'm in the shorts. I didn't want to play ES. I was looking to play Nasdaq here. Um, but I guess I'm gonna have to just ride with it. There's been some pretty nice moves before the market opens, which is why I'm open to taking these. If I like what I see, like I said, I like this, this double top. We're clearly price is clearly having a hard time making higher highs here, and we broke past a few things here, so it gives me the confidence to hop in. My stop loss is right around 46.30. 46.30 is my stop loss. So I got in as we broke here. Let me take you guys over to ES and show you what's happening there. So ES, I had something similar, right? Um, we understand that Nasdaq double topped. We have something similar here. We found a really strong rejection. Um, yeah, we found this really nice rejection up here. We're starting to make see this looks to me this looks like a retracement. This little area here, this to me looks like a retracement. Right, so we retraced and now we're seeing a little bit of aggression here. So I really want this to stay below 46.30. Um, if not, I'm gonna have to get out. All right, I'm holding it. We got diamond hands over here. I'm holding it. Seeing a really nice rejection up here on NASDAQ. Once again, it's failing to make higher highs here. We rejected off of NASDAQ. So I'm gonna hold this bad boy, see how low we can go. I'm gonna take a couple off the table just because obviously this is high risk, right? If you're taking a trade as the market open, it's obviously a little riskier than so I just took a few off the table here, and I do expect this rejection here. I do expect this to hold here, so I just be careful, you know. This 46.25, it's a psychological level. We saw a really nice rejection down here, so if this gets back up to 46.28, then I'm gonna get out just prematurely. Just I don't really want to hold on to this.
Order canceled.
All right, we out. We are out completely. I wouldn't call that a win, right? We got like 2 points on that one. I was expecting a little more of a push to the downside, but we got enough to cover for commissions there. How about that? So another reason I got out was because I'm looking at NASDAQ here and it's making higher highs, right? It's making higher highs. So this right here, I'm not going to call it bullish just yet. Again, I don't like playing the breakouts, the high day breakouts, just because I think they're lower probability. You know, a lot of the times we have fake outs and whatnot, so you see this right here? This is something that I'm willing to trade here on ES. If we can get to this 46.30, if we can get to 46.30, I'd be willing to trade that. And the reason I like it was because I'm not necessarily playing the breakout, the high day breakout. I'm playing more so, I'm speculating that we're going to break past this, but this is a nice play here. I would need to see it come back to these levels here. We're 3 points away from that. If we can get to this 46.30, I'm going long. but I don't know if we're gonna be able to get it. All right, I'm hopping in.
Order filled.
We got a nice entry here. We're going in long, 46.29. I need this thing to hold here. Stop loss is at about 46.28. So I'm looking at Nasdaq and it's making higher highs. I'm looking at ES and I want it to follow suit here. I want it to make higher highs just like Nasdaq's making higher highs. And I like this because it's a psychological level. We just broke past the trend line here. And we saw some really nice defense. Saw some really nice aggression up here. Nasdaq's making higher highs, so I mean everything looks good to me. I just need to see ES moving. Of course, ES moves like it's in a wheelchair, right? It moves real slow in comparison to Nasdaq. So, but if Nasdaq's making higher highs, it gives me the confidence here that ES is gonna catch up real soon. You're asking, I'm not sure if you can share the right screen. The right screen, what? You can see both, right? I share these two, my guy, right here. These the five. You should be seeing the 5 minute and the 2 minute. Those are the two. Those are the two screens that I'm sharing. I don't like that Nasdaq's making higher highs, but ES is having a hard time. It's got to get up there. Come on. All right, cool. I'm gonna move my stop loss to break even. I don't want to see this thing get below it again. And I'm comfortable doing that with ES just because I know how ES behaves a little. ES is a little more predictable than Nasdaq in my opinion. But I feel comfortable moving my stop loss to break even. So my stop loss is now at 46.29. I would need to see this just continue to run up, and I'm gonna have to trim some at the highs here. So once we get to the highs up here, I'll trim some, and then I'll let some free runners go. See if we can break past those highs. But we saw a lot of sellers step in here. In this candle, we saw a lot of sellers step. In fact, I'm gonna switch this to the 1 minute. So you should be seeing the 5 minute and the 1 minute now. So we saw a lot of sellers step in here, and now what I want to see is just this level here. It held nicely. What I want to see is price continue to make higher highs here and then test this level up here, this 46.34. is what I want to see. I want to see price get up there. Nasdaq is making higher highs. Let me show you what Nasdaq is doing very quickly. Right, Nasdaq is making higher highs. We just broke past this 1 hour supply zone, and I feel confident that this is gonna keep going up. I'm gonna have to trim some though. Yeah, so look what Nasdaq's doing. It just keeps making higher highs. Obviously, ES is falling behind, but it's okay. I like what's happening. There's no way I can lose on this position. Like I said, my stop loss is at break even. So even if this goes against me, I'm not gonna lose anything. But this right now, it shouldn't turn against me. Not unless, you know, some sellers step in here, but I really think we're gonna end up testing the highs here. I would want to see that. Although it is having a hard time here. Nasdaq as always is just fucking running, dude. I wish Nasdaq was a little more predictable. That thing just runs. I see NQ on July. Here, I can't. Let me see real quick. You see NQ on July. What the hell? Here, let me just. You should be seeing today, July 27th, right? 5:52 a.m. That's kind of strange. Here, let me just check what's going on my end. Oh, what the hell? Damn, thank you for pointing that out, dude. I had no freaking clue that was happening. That's kind of weird, though. I don't know why that's happening, but we're gonna go ahead and fix that real quick. Okay, you should be seeing what I'm seeing now. Damn, thanks, dude. Sorry about that. This whole entire time I was showing you guys the wrong damn screen. Okay. All right, cool. So you're seeing what I'm seeing now, which is great. Perfect. Cool. So now that you know what I'm doing, okay, so this is what this was my thought process here, right? So this is why I'm in long right now. So on ES, I really liked this setup here. I wasn't necessarily playing the high day breakout, um, but I did get in right here as we broke. I just don't like this. I may end up getting stopped out here. I just don't like how it's consolidating. I thought maybe it would catch up to what to Nasdaq, because Nasdaq is just running up as always. Um, but so we broke past this after finding a pretty strong rejection down here. We broke past it aggressively, came back down, found an immediate retest, and right now I'm targeting the high days up here. So this is where I got in. I got in at 46.30, a little below that actually, at 46.29. So pretty spot on entry. I'm happy with the entry. I just need to see this make higher highs up here. I will say we did have a really strong rejection here at 46.33. So, you know, sellers can defend this level, but if they end up failing, I think we're going to test the 46.34 level. That's where I'm going to take some profits, and hopefully we can break past that. If we can break past that, well, obviously that would be a way better. I'd get paid out a little more, but I just don't understand how Nasdaq is just running up, and then this thing right here is giving us a hard time. Um, so yeah, that was my thought process behind that trade. I'm sure you can now probably understand now, seeing what I'm seeing. Anyways, so I'm gonna draw a little trend line here. So I'm gonna give this some time here, but you know, I can be a little impatient sometimes if this thing doesn't end up working out, because it's just consolidating right now, and I don't like that. I wanted to see just a nice bounce, but if this ends up just staying up here, okay. Well, that was it for me. I didn't have to close out the position; it just closed me out. So I broke even on that one. ES, it didn't move like I wanted it to, and that's why lately I've just been trading. I've been trading Nasdaq, because ES, it's been really hard to catch a nice move on ES. It's been really difficult. And I'm not just talking about this week. I've just been talking about the last 2 weeks maybe. Like I would normally go for about 10 points. I'd take some profits there, and then I'd let some free runners go just in case it'd keep going. But now it's even harder to get 10 points on ES. It's been very difficult to find continuation. The nice thing is we have markets like Nasdaq that it runs pretty clean. It just runs, right. Less liquidity, less consolidation. But yeah, I'm getting real tired of ES, honestly, because you guys can see, like, you guys can tell Nasdaq ran up from 15,832 all the way to 15,900. Like, that's a nice move, right? And then compare that to the ES. Hasn't done shit. Now I am noticing when ES tells me to get in, you could also, instead of getting in on ES, you could just get in on Nasdaq, right? So when ES broke past this at 633, because this was a really nice level, right? We broke past the trend line, we broke past this little opposing zone. This was a really nice level here. When ES told me to get in at 633, maybe that was a sign for me to get in on Nasdaq instead of getting in on ES. So again, I like to look for those conjunctions, right? Those like the two markets telling me to get in. I just didn't want to play the breakout of Nasdaq, so that's one of the reasons I just chose to get in on ES, speculating a higher move. But of course, it didn't give me what I wanted. So, yeah. 10 used to be easy, my guy. I don't know how long you've been trading ES, but 10 used to be a normal day. 10 wasn't hard. In fact, we would get 20, sometimes 30-point moves. And now, during the summer months, it definitely slows down. So that's something to consider. And then we do have a lot of news right now coming out. So that's something else to consider, right? That's going to slow down the markets. But I'm telling you, I used to catch 10-point moves. Like, that was my first target profit. And then I'd let some free runners go. Now it's getting very difficult to even get 10, to even get 5. I couldn't even get 5 on that one. It before consolidating. So it is what it is. I mean, it's definitely there's seasons to it, right? The market's ever changing. So there's seasons to it, something that you have to anticipate and really prepare for. That's why I've been trading Nasdaq a little more. But Nasdaq moves differently. Nasdaq's just, it's built different. So, speaking of Nasdaq, let's head over to Nasdaq and let's see what's cracking there. Right? So, we're starting to see a little pullback here. Right now, I'm just writing my checklist. I got into play before the market opened, so I didn't get a time to write this. But I like to have a little checklist with me. I've just been keeping track of my trades, and it's something that I would highly encourage um, you guys to do. And I try to keep it as simple as possible. I know a lot of people will tell you to do it differently, but I'm gonna just tell you the way I do it. I just write down everything that I look for in a trade, right? All the characteristics, all the confluences that I want to see, right? And I just check them off. And then the only thing that I add to that is, the only thing I add to that is my confidence level from a 1 to 3. Just keep it simple, right? A lot of people tell you, oh, from 1 to 10, I just keep it simple, bro. Either you were not confident, either you were a little confident, or either you were extremely confident. That's it. Right? You don't have to do a fucking scale from 1 to 10. It makes no sense. What's the difference between a 7 and an 8, right? Just a little more confidence. Like, keep it simple, right? And then I write the result. Was it a win? Was it a loss? Right? And then I like to look at it at the end of the day. I like to see my losses and my wins and notice what confluences were present, right? So that's the way I do it. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. You know, there's different ways of doing it, but I just like to keep things as simple as possible. And I think that's what trading is all about, keeping it simple. Okay, so NASDAQ, once again, running up. Um, and I want to point out, if you look at the left screen, look how NASDAQ, 5 minutes before the market opened, we had a really strong rejection here, right? Followed by a pretty nice move to the upside. So those are the clues that you got to look for, dude. You got to look for these clues. We had really strong rejection. We had increase in volume. You definitely want to look for this. I don't know if we bounced off a level up here. 646. Um, ugh. 46.28. So we just saw a pretty strong rejection at this level here. But one thing that I want to diagnose or investigate, I should say, let's investigate. What caused this rejection? Was it this? I'm talking about this rejection up here. I bet it was that. Right? Bam. To the T. Yep. So that was a rejection that we saw last week. So we did just tag that zone, which could explain as to why we saw this little, we're seeing this move to the downside. I'm looking to play short here. I just don't know if I have all the confluences that I typically like to see, but this would be a nice entry. We've already rejected. I just don't like the rejection that we saw here. This was a pretty strong rejection here. Okay, and we did have we do have news right now, actually. I don't think it's going to spark a lot of volatility, but this pending home sales that was just released right now, um, which explains a little I'm seeing a little volatility, nothing crazy, right? But I have to see like some kind of um, break of structure or supported by structure. Right now I'm not noticing that, so I don't want to get in prematurely here. I do anticipate a move to the downside. I would just maybe have to see either and this level actually, okay, so this, like I have marked down here, you can tell we had increase in volume as we touched this 1 hour supply zone, and this is the end of that 1 hour supply zone here. um, so we're still, this is, you can say this is the 1 hour supply zone here. We're still within that. um, Maybe if we can break below this 15,868 level, I'd be open to getting in this 15,868 level here on Nasdaq. So right here, if we can potentially break below this, all right. So I would have to see, I'd have to see some kind of rejection, some a really nice rejection up here, then some aggression stepping in, and then and then just find a break below this here. But I am noticing a little bit of a trend line here. Noticing a little trend line there. So once again, if we can potentially, come up here, find a strong rejection, sellers defending these levels, and then find some aggression and then break past this level, um, I think that could potentially be a nice play. Maybe targeting this here, targeting that would be for our first target profit, and then uh, not really what I not really what I expected, to be honest. I'm gonna sit out on this one. It's not really what I wanted to see. I wanted it to come a little higher, find some sellers up here, form a double top, and then this ain't it right here. This ain't it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that. So the home pending sales was the only thing we had to be aware of. That's now behind us. There's no other news. Not until tomorrow, actually. Tomorrow we will be seeing. We've got core PCE, we got employment costs, we got a few important economic events tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that at 5:30 and then at 7 a.m. That's Western time, of course. We're out here in sunny California. Let me know where you guys are from. If there's anyone watching, let me know where you're from. Well, that's too bad no one's watching. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna have to make money on my own, baby. I'm okay with that. No problema, no problema. Ooh. So we did have a pretty strong rejection here. So I'm interested to see if we're gonna. Oh, just kidding. We broke past it. Now, is this a liquidity sweep or is it a legit break? We have yet to see. We have yet to see if this is just some kind of fake here. If it's trying to fake us out. I'm not looking to play any of this. I don't like the setup. I don't like the structure. And then we do have a 10-minute. Dude, my neighbor, he's up and grinding in the morning, early in the morning, before the sun comes out. He already has a fucking cigarette in his mouth. That boy is clocking in. I already smell that shit. Problem is it's fucking hot and I want to keep this door open, but I quit smoking and I fucking hate the smell. So so we do have a 1 hour demand zone, so I'm interested to see how this is gonna hold up here. I'm gonna get rid of this real quick. So this 1 hour demand zone here, definitely something worth considering. So that's the start of the 1 hour demand zone. So you guys see that line I just drew? That's the 1 hour demand zone. We saw, really a nice little rejection so far. We're seeing some increase in volume as we come into that. I don't have an entry. Um, Not really noticing anything significant. I mean, the only thing I did notice was this short play as we broke past 15,868. You know, this little area here. I didn't like the. I wasn't a fan of it though. I wasn't a fan of the structure there. So for those reasons, I didn't get in. Um, Although was telling me to get in. ES was telling me to get in. I just didn't. Uh, I just didn't. So I think we could get a better play. Once again, we have demand down here. We have support. So we do have a few levels that we need to be concerned about. But as of right now, we are just waiting for the market to develop. I'm not a big fan of this action here. Now we do also have this nice supply zone up here, right? So that's the supply zone that formed as we broke past 15,865. Now thinking about it, I back then I'd consider myself a day trader, but man, I'm more so a scalper. Like I'm like just recently I've just been in and out of positions. Um, just sometimes I'll stay in there for minutes. Like I don't think it's been a while since I really stayed in a trade for any longer than like 30 minutes. Like I feel like most of the time it kind of works out the way I expect it to. I take some profits and I'm out. So I'm definitely more of a scalper. So if that's your trading style, you might be in the right place. We're in this 1 hour demand right now, which is why I think we're having a hard time making lower lows here. And then same thing on ES. We're in this 1 hour demand. Now, these levels are meant to be broken. I repeat, these levels are meant to be broken, right? The only reason I jot them down is so that we're aware of them and we know what to anticipate. So we want to stay ahead of the game here, but I'm never really playing these levels alone. Like if I have some additional confluences, I will, but for the most part, these levels are meant to be broken. Now this red box here, once again, that's a 5 minute supply zone. So I'm interested to see if we're gonna get up there and test that level and bounce off of that level. Ooh, and we do have this trend line support here too. If you look at like the 10 minute, you can draw a trend line there. So we are being supported by that here on ES. That's that zone on ES. I just found that zone. 4621 on ES is definitely a zone. And that's where we saw a really nice rejection there. So we do have a transition of control here. So on ES, 4621 is definitely a level of interest. That's the level that we bounced off of. Do I think we're gonna bounce off of it and see higher highs? Not exactly, but We definitely need to see a break past that level so that we can make lower lows. But there are a few things like holding this up, and that's one of the reasons we're finding consolidations here. I'm ready to go long here. I just need to see one thing from. I need to see ES get above 46.24. If we can do that, then I'm gonna go long. All right, I'm gonna hop in this.
Order filled.
So I'm in NASDAQ. Stop loss. I'm gonna put it right below this low here. We're definitely being supported here. We saw a really strong push. We saw a really strong push to the downside, not much continuation, so I'm hoping buyers could step in here. Although I don't like what's happening on ES. I need to see ES get above. Come on. Ah. I'm going to tighten up my stop loss here because I'm not a big fan of this setup here. Not really how I pictured it playing out.
Stop filled.
All right. Yeah, I tightened up my stop loss. Don't like this. I don't like that setup there. Ah, that was. Could have got it. I could have got a better setup. That wasn't it. That wasn't it. Nope. Yeah, that just wasn't it, dude. That wasn't it. Uh, it's crazy because the ones that I don't take are the ones that end up working out. right? I wanted to get in at 15,868. I chose not to get in, and it ended up working out. And this was it right here. I need to start doing something different, man, because I'm getting in at the ones that I don't get it. I don't get it. All right, come on, man. Wow, that's insane. Ah! Dude, I need to start fucking taking these trades, bruh. For anyone that was here, I was calling this play out and I just chose to be a pussy and I didn't take it. And we broke past the trend line. We broke past a nice little opposing zone. I just don't fucking get it, dude. ES was showing the same thing. I've had way too many plays where I end up just letting go. Like it's not that I notice them in hindsight. It's like I'm noticing them in real time. It's just like I'm not playing them just for whatever reason, and it's just fucking getting ridiculous. And I'm just putting it out there to hold myself accountable. If there's anyone watching, dude, just if you see your setup, don't hesitate. Don't think about it. Just fucking take it. I've been in this phase for way too long where I'm missing a lot of my A plus setups just because there's something that seems off, right? The only reason I didn't take this setup was because we saw a really strong rejection here, but everything else, we bounced off of a key level up here. We saw some regression. We broke past an opposing zone. We broke past the trend line. And this was the first target profit right here at 1584, this 1 hour demand. And I mean, you can tell the rest. We definitely have missed out on a huge opportunity here. Sometimes you just gotta vent. So for the one person watching, thank you for being here. That's insane. And and then ES was showing the same thing. So let me show you this. So this is at 703, right? When we broke past this box here, this was at 705. 705. So let's look at what ES was doing at 705. I had this box drawn out on ES. Just wait until this thing loads up here. I had this box drawn out on ES. Broke past this similar thing, right? We broke past it, and then at 705, we had bounced. We found an immediate retest, and at 705, we broke past this low here. So we had that as a confluence. We had that as a confluence, and yet I chose not to take it. So yeah, it's quite a bummer, to be honest, but what can you do? Move on to the next play. Yeah, let's move on to the next one. I mean, there's nothing here for me yet. We definitely need to let this thing develop. I have a 2 hour demand zone down at 15,735. It's definitely a common theme too. Like you want to see a strong rejection and then some aggression, right? So here, if you're looking at the 5 minute here, like we had this really nice rejection up here. We had this nice rejection before the market opened. This 620 at 625. This candle here, nice rejection here. So it's a common theme. And then you also just want to go with the color, right? When you're looking at these higher time frames, like the 5 minute or the 10 minute, just go with the color. Um, and I think that would make it easier. So we saw a pretty strong rejection here. I want to see where this is coming from. Okay. So we do have an area of interest here. That's an area of interest there, what I just highlighted. I'm not a big fan of the red. Yeah, let me go back to gray. Okay, so that's an area of interest there. So I'm writing down a few things, right? You want to go with with the high time frame candle color, right? So once again, look at those. Look at that 10-minute. If you trade anything, if you trade with the higher time frame, just go with the color, right? You wouldn't want to go against the color. I personally like to use the 10-minute, the 5-minute, and then I spot my entries like in the 2-minute. Sometimes in the 1-minute, but usually the 2-minute. That's where I spot my entries, and but I definitely want everything to kind of match up and be aligned. So that's why I look at the 5 and the 10. Let's take a look at what ES is doing, right? Just want to show you guys. So ES, same thing, right? We had a nice little sell-off, and let me get rid of this zone because this didn't work out. So we're starting to see that. Okay, that's interesting. Now I'm not looking to get in just yet, but I actually wouldn't mind. I wouldn't. I'm not looking to go long. This could potentially be a pullback here and a continuation, right? So if we can this, I don't know why ES stopped here, if I'm being honest. Not really much telling me it's a key level, this 46.15, other than it's a psychological level, which okay, cool. But I wouldn't place much emphasis. I know why NASDAQ stopped here, because NASDAQ, this is, I would consider it a key level, but this could potentially be an opportunity to go short. I'm looking at this zone here, and then if we respect this trend line, we may potentially break below this, and I would go short. I'd speculate a break below this, so I'm gonna go ready to go short here if we break below that. And I'm looking at NASDAQ is showing us the same thing here too. All right, if we can break below that zone there. Because we do have quite a bit of, let me just show you. This was support, broke past it, should turn into resistance, right? Just going based off the textbook here. Support, broke past it, turned into resistance, so we could potentially see some resistance play out here and then break below this level, or we just continue to go higher. But I'm looking at ES here, and I'm not really noticing anything that's telling us this 46.15 level is key. Doesn't really seem that significant on ES. I'm gonna head back to NASDAQ, and I'm constantly looking at both. I actually have both NASDAQ and ES up here, so I'm looking at both at all times. All right, I want to see them behave in similar ways or similar fashions, and that just gives me the confidence to come up with a trade idea when they're both moving the same. I'm interested to see if this by any chance is a Fibonacci level. It doesn't seem like it is. Just before you even smacking it on, it doesn't really seem like it's a fib level. Yeah. I mean, if you put it there, I guess it is that we have reached that 50% retracement. But I wouldn't pay too much attention to that. I think the reason we're bouncing off of this is because we did have a nice little zone here. 15,765. Yeah. I just can't seem to find why we're bouncing off of it on ES. Yeah, I don't know. But there it goes back up. All right, well, we do have this 10-minute supply zone up here. How about we do red for supply and green for demand? I just hate having to fucking switch these colors every time, but yeah, I don't like these colors, to be honest. I think I'm gonna just stick with I think I may just end up going back to gray. That's what I was doing originally. I just feel like I'd have to get used to it, and I'm not really trying to get used to it, so I'm gonna just go back to gray. Save that as my default there. There's always an opportunity in the market. A lot of people might tell you that there isn't, but if you're a scalper, there's definitely opportunities in the market. Maybe not for swing traders, right? But for scalpers, the market moves enough. Especially if you're looking at NQ, man, that thing moves. Every single day there's a nice move. That's why you're seeing a lot of people making a lot of money right now. This market definitely moves. So we're coming into this 10-minute demand zone here. And we did see some increase in volume. On ES, we're testing, it seems like as of right now, we're rejecting VWAP, right? So we have those two things to consider. So 10-minute demand zone on NQ, or supply zone, I should say, 10-minute supply zone, and then we have this we have VWAP on ES that we have to consider. So and then usually these trend lines are also, they're usually supported. You know, they'll act as support and resistance sometimes. So we broke past this trend line, and we could expect price to potentially you know, bounce off of this potentially. I don't know. We'll have to see. So this may offer an opportunity to go short here. We're seeing a pretty strong rejection up here, and I'm looking at this particular zone right here. Like if we get below VWAP on NASDAQ, if we get below that VWAP, and then I'm noticing the same thing on ES, if we can get below 4620, I'd be interested to go short. So once we get below this box here, once again, this is demand, this is supply. We have this trend line, and then if we get below NASDAQ, if we get below VWAP, and then ES gets below this 4620, then it may offer a good opportunity to go short. That's just me though. That's just me though. Alright, I like it.
Order filled.
Let's do it. ES is seeing lower lows here. We saw a nice rejection. What else do you need? Alright. Let's hit it, baby. Let's go. This is the one. I feel pretty confident about this one. I like this one. I like what ES is doing. ES just had a nice little drop. I don't get it. When I play NASDAQ, ES moves faster. When I play ES moves or when I play ES, NASDAQ, it just doesn't cooperate. Fucking A. Key level, right? 10 minute supply zone. 10-minute supply zone. You can argue that we broke past the little trend line. If you were to draw a trend line here, you can argue that we broke past that trend line. We're below VWAP, we're below our EMAs. We got in right at 15.811, and I'm actually gonna target the lows here. If we can get down to the lows again, this 15.765, I'll take some profits there and let some free runners go. So we got in short right as we broke past this here. We had quite a few confluences there, so I like what price is currently doing. I just need to see this thing continue to make lower lows here and get down. Our first target profit's gonna be this zone here, this green zone. That's our first target profit. So you could have drawn like a trend line, right? Because it just went straight up, right? So we broke past that and we bounced off of this level here. And I know my charts get a little messy, but I like to interpret all this information here and just have it handy, you know. But I think I do a good job of explaining what I'm looking at. This zone here may potentially give us a problem, but I'm hoping it doesn't. This zone here. I really want to test the lows here. I think that's where price wants to go. This is like a straight up retracement, right? Straight up retracement. And if sellers are strong enough, we're gonna put all these buyers underwater. They're gonna have to sell their positions, and we're gonna bank on this position right here. But I need to see this test the lows here. Once we get to this green shaded box, I'm gonna take some profits. Oh, come on. What are you doing? You're going to the wrong side, buddy. You're going the wrong way. Come back. I think we'll give it some time. I expected this little box to act as a little bit of support here, so I'm hoping this is just a little fake here and then drop back down. One of the things that I learned yesterday was that I was moving my stop loss way too soon, so I'm gonna just let this thing run. I don't care, just let it run. Not until we hit this green box here. So I think a really good, going back to this trading journal is, I think something that we all have to do, and I just realized this, is we have to write our confidence before the trade, because after we journal our trades after the trade happened, but I think it's you ought to write your confidence level, because that's the only thing that I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at my confidence level, and then I'm looking at all the confluences that I typically look for. But I think you ought to look at you ought to write down um, your confidence level as you enter the trade, not after it played out already, right? Because if you end up taking an L, you're gonna be like, oh, I wasn't really that confident in it, right? But in real time, if you write that number down, that's gonna be like the real number, right? All right, I'm gonna take some profits here.
Order filled.
We hit that shaded box just like I wanted it to, and then stop loss is gonna have to be, I'm gonna actually I'm gonna move it now to break even, or now let's do 15,805. If we break below this low here, I'm gonna actually move it. Looking pretty good here. We're up about 50 points on this. I'm gonna put it actually right on top of that 1 minute candle. So my stop loss is currently right here at 15,780. We already took some of my profits. If I get stopped out, no biggie.
Stop filled.
Okay, I'm okay with that. Whew. So we got a win. Nice. That one was nice. That was about 40 points, 40, 50 points right there. How many ticks is that? Is that 200 ticks? That's not bad. I'll take it. Cool. So that's my winning trade of the day. We missed out on a few, right? Like I said, we missed out on this one. This one was the biggest move so far, but I'm glad that we were able to capitalize on this one here. And this one, we had a key level, right? We had that, I was screaming out that 10-minute demand zone or supply zone. I keep getting it confused. I was screaming out that 10-minute demand zone. I did it again. I was screaming out that 10-minute supply zone, right? That there was a 10-minute supply zone. We broke below this opposing zone here. We broke below VWAP, right? So we did see some defense, right? We saw a really strong rejection on the 5-minute. We saw some aggression step in, breaking below VWAP. We broke past our trend line. We did have a candle range break, which is something else that I look for. And then this, I guess you can consider it a lower high. All right, because we were trending to the downside, and we did see this lower high up here. So breaking the EMAs, yes. Cool. Well, that's nice. do have a 10-minute zone here. Is it okay if I play this long? We're seeing a double bottom. Double bottom. If we can break, I gotta see the same thing here on ES actually. I want to take a stab at it, but there's a few things going against me, right? ES is still kind of, yeah, I'm gonna sit out on this one, but I'm looking at that zone there. The only thing, right, is we're in a 10-minute supply zone. VWAP is there. We still got to break past that trend line. Although we do have a double bottom, I'm getting mixed signals here, so I think it's probably for the best to just sit out. Alright, well, I need to take a leak, so I'll be right back. Salmon? A little bit of beef though.